Hey everyone, this is John the Watch Concierge, and today I'm going to be doing a review of my Parnis PA6048, which is a watch that obviously, as you can tell just by the look of it, is inspired by, is an homage to the Rolex Daytona. And I actually have another version of this watch with a ice blue type dial, which is an homage to the platinum dial Daytona. And this one, I'll talk about this dial here in just a minute, but just wanted to obviously show you the box that you get with the Parnis watch. And this is the common box that you'll get for all of their watches actually. So it's the international guarantee and user's manual here, and a little tag. That's about it, but not a very good looking box, but it keeps the watch protected. And now we can talk about the watch. So it's got a case size of 39 millimeters with a case thickness of 13.65 millimeters, which is actually really surprising because it does feel and look a lot smaller. I would say around probably 11 millimeters. If I didn't know, I would have guessed around 11. So fits very comfortably on the wrist, and it's just a good size for people with smaller wrists like myself. My wrist size is about 6.3 inches or so, and I would say that this is a really good size watch, especially for a chronograph, because sometimes chronographs have a bigger size look to it and the case tends to be a lot bigger. You've got a really good size with this one. So the dial, as you're probably wondering, it's not the most common dial for a Rolex Daytona Homage. So this is actually, I would say, quite unique if you compare to most brands out there that do Rolex Daytona Homages. This one is definitely one that stands out compared to most. However, it is, after all, a Chinese brand, a Chinese watch, so it is mass produced and there's plenty of these out there. But compared to most other brands, I would say this is sort of unique. But whether it's actually copying or being inspired by a specific Rolex Daytona Homage, I'm not quite sure, because I tried looking up, but I couldn't find one that is exactly like this with the two subdials and this kind of yellowish, light yellow, cream color. But it's a great combination. I love the black subdials with the yellow, light yellow cream dial, and it's just a really cool little watch to have. It's got the Seiko VK movement, hybrid movement, which is really good for chronographs that come at this price, you know, around $100 or so. You don't really expect a mechanical chronograph, for example, which usually, if you get a Chinese one, it tends to be around $200 or $180. But this one is, of course, the VK movement with the central seconds just pointing towards the 12 o'clock, and you start there and then you can stop and you reset with the bottom pusher. And you can see these pushers here are screw-in, which maybe makes you wonder whether this is a watch with water resistance or good water resistance. And I would say that they claim to actually only have 30 meters water resistance, but they do have these screw-in pushers. No screw-in crown, unfortunately, but looks like you know, it does a good job of keeping water outside. Also has a screw-in case back similar to Rolex in terms of the style of the case back there, with a nice brushed finish at the top. And the case is actually all polished, so you can see the side of the case here is nicely polished. And sometimes it's hard to find watches, especially from like these Chinese brands or just watches in general from China, or affordable watches that are all polished that don't look cheap. And this one doesn't really look that cheap, I would say, compared to a lot of other ones out there. The lugs are also all polished, so you can see there's no brushing, there's no brushed finishing at all on the case, which sometimes is good to have, because then you have a mix of brushed and polished, and it just gives a different look to the watch and makes it look a little bit more expensive, or at least nicer and with more attention to detail, whereas maybe watches that are just all polished sometimes can have like a cheap look to it. So that's all I'm trying to say. And as I mentioned, I have gone in the water, not with this particular watch, but with the other version with the blue, ice blue dial, but it's the same model, same kind of water resistance. So I had no problem with having water entering the watch, but I would not recommend going in the water with this. And I didn't go diving or anything, just didn't go deep at all, just kind of swimming around in the ocean. So, and it turned out fine, which was a good test. But like I said, because this is 30 meters water resistance, I would not really risk it unless you're okay with risking. You got the tachymeter there around the bezel, and I actually prefer this kind of bezel, this metal color, rather than having a black ceramic bezel for this style, I would say. I think it gives more focus to the dial with the combination there of the light yellow and black in the dial. And you can see you got white minute markers going around this black wheel, and you only have the 12 and the 6. Those are the only numbers that appear on the main part of the dial, and everything else is just marked with these black lines or indices that are just printed on there. So there's nothing that's applied on the dial except for the hands, obviously, and yeah, but that's it. No logo or name with applied metal on there. So looks really good, and it's just a cool watch. It's got sapphire crystal, so it's definitely good to have something like that as a daily watch, or a sports watch with sapphire crystal is always important to have. And bracelet is well finished as well, and I would say the clasp is my favorite part, because they always do a good job with the Parnis clasps. As you can see, it's got even this perlage finishing there, which makes it look super nice. A nice brushed finishing there to the clasp, which is just a common kind of folding clasp, but you got these little buttons here with this grip ability to it, which is nice. And I don't know exactly what to call it, but it's not your typical flat buttons that you get with the fold clasps, and doesn't have any sharp edges like the Pagani design watches. But yeah, really good overall finishing on both the bracelet as well as the case. And I would recommend getting this watch. So like I said, if you want to check it out, you can go check out the different dials that they have in the link that I'll put in the description. And thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe, like, check out all the other videos I have on my channel. And we can do maybe a lume test. There's a little bit of lume on the the hands there, but I don't even think it's really worth it because it's just a regular C3 green lume that you get, and it doesn't last that long, so it's not really worth doing it. So actually I'll just skip it. So but anyways, thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe, like if you want. Also check out the membership that I have. There's different levels you can pay, starting at $5 or so. And so it's really cheap, and you get exclusive content and stuff that you'll get, and special attention that you'll get from me, obviously. So depending on the different membership levels, you can check out what they include. But make sure to follow me on Instagram as well, and on Reddit, and on Watch Crunch. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.